In this video, we are going to look at how to find the surface area of a complex shape. Now, we've seen surface area before in 2D shapes, but in this case, we see that we have a 3D pentagonal prism. And there's a few things we need to notice about this right away. First is that we have two different shapes here. We have a pentagon that fills up this area, and then we have rectangles along the outside here, here, down here, and then across the back and here. Now, looking at this shape right away, we can figure out a few things. First off, we can assume that if we have a side here, there's going to be the exact same opposite side on the other side. So we can quickly look. We can decide that we have pentagons. And then we have two of them. We can also look at our rectangles and we can count them and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 rectangles. Now we can look at this shape and go, well, we know that the area of a rectangle here is calculated with length times width. And we know that we have 5 of them, so we know our dimensions already. But the pentagon is where we start having a little bit of problems. So what we can do is break this into two shapes that we recognize. And right here, I have a trapezoid and I have a triangle right here. And these are both shapes that we know how to find the area for. And by simply splitting these into two different ones, we can turn that red and make this one blue over here. We've now made it possible for us to calculate the entire surface area of this shape. All we need is to get some more dimensions for this line right along here. Now that we've divided this pentagon on top here into two different shapes, a trapezoid and a triangle, we've been given some extra dimensions that are going to help us out here. We now know that the base right along here is 13 centimeters. We also know that the height of the trapezoid is 7 centimeters and the height of our triangle is 5 centimeters. Because this is a shared line right here, we can also know that the base of the trapezoid is 13 centimeters. This is where we can tie in some previous knowledge that we have. We know that the area of a triangle, so a triangle, is calculated by base times height over 2. We also know that the area of a trapezoid is area trapezoid equals the side A plus side B times height over 2. So we can label this side here A and this side here B. That makes it easier to see. We also have leftover shapes. We have the rectangles around the entire base. So each rectangle, area rectangle, equals length times width. Adding all of these shapes together will be able to give us a surface area, and we're going to work through that right now. So we start here with the triangle. We know that the area of a triangle equals base times height over 2. So area equals 13 centimeters times 5 centimeters divided by 2, which then equals, we have 65 centimeters squared divided by 2, which equals 32.5 centimeters squared. Now if we just remember that off to the side. Now we can look at the trapezoid. Now the trapezoid's dimensions, as we mentioned, it shares the base right along here with the triangle. So we look and we go, well, each side of this pentagon is 8 centimeters, so we know that this side will be 8 centimeters as well. So we have area of a trapezoid equals side A plus side B times height divided by 2. So we have 8 plus 13 times our height, which is 7 centimeters, and divide all of that by 2. So we have 8 plus 13 times 7 equals 147. We bring this up here, divided by 2. We have 73.5 centimeters squared. Now if we add our area from the triangle together and our area down here, we get a total of 106 centimeters squared. Now that we've found the area for one trapezoid, knowing that it is 106 centimeters squared, we are going to be able to find the area of our rectangles. Now we only need to find the area of one of them to start. We know this, that area equals length times width, so area equals 8 centimeters times 8 centimeters, which equals 64 centimeters squared. Now, as discussed earlier, we know that there are 5 rectangles that work our way around here. So, if we take this 64 centimeters squared and multiply it by 5, we end up with 320 centimeters squared. Now, at this point, we are almost done. We now need to take our pentagon, and we know that there are 2 of them, so we have 106 centimeters squared. Multiply that by 2 for the top up here and the bottom underneath. If we multiply that, we have 212 centimeters squared. Finally, we just need to simply add these 2 numbers together. So we get 320 centimeters squared for all 5 rectangles around the outside, plus 212 centimeters squared for our 2 pentagons. And we end up with a grand total surface area of 532 centimeters squared. All we need to do is add a therefore statement, and we are done.